Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another fat one. We have got something I've been trying to make for a while now. We kind of searched the internet everywhere. We couldn't see anything anywhere about how to make ice. How is it that you create a floating sheet of ice? How is it that you would shoot it so it's underwater but it isn't -5? So over the last 5 years, I've been making a documentary called The Pilgrimage to Enlightenment, The Journey to Becoming an Advocate. Here's a link to the trailer. Now, this film has been a arduous, lengthy, but life-changing experience. Through this experience, I've had to learn basically how to filmmake in a nutshell. I've had to learn everything from the first time picking up some equipment. It was the first time I'd ever used a gimbal. It was the first time I'd ever tried to tell stories on camera, and it was an incredible journey. And this film is released this year. It gets released in October at Los Angeles Film Festival. I'm incredibly excited to show you and show everybody around the world this project that was started by Enzo Simone, but without him, this journey wouldn't have been possible. This is a little something that me and Enzo learnt along the way, and I wanted to bring you in on some information that I thought would be helpful.
We just made a bucket of snow. That's crazy.
Now, in the opening scene, we had a reenactment that was a part of Enzo's life. When Enzo was a child, he was drowning in the bottom of a lake. So to show a reenactment of this, we had to sort of learn how to make ice. How is it that we would shoot this ice scene underwater on a budget? We didn't get any funding for this film. It was completely self-produced, and that was a big part of the learning journey as well, is that actually it's incredibly expensive to make a film, but there are inventive ways of making your work interesting, and also it still gives you a high production value. The majority of the film was shot on a Canon 5D Mark III, and then we used a run and gun Panasonic for the documentary stuff along the route. It was very, very minimal budget, and we made it work. I think I couldn't stress enough actually that story over everything is what matters. So, how did we make the ice? We started off by building a wooden frame that was the same size as the Perspex sheets we bought.
When this is finished, we're going to have it all clamped together for reinforcement with the little tiny clamps. But while we're putting the silicone on to make it airtight, then we're going to use the big ones, and then we'll take those off afterwards.
We then sprayed on some ice crystals that you can buy from any convenience store or Amazon. We still wasn't sure if this was going to float, but the thinking is that if we make an airtight pocket between both sheets of Perspex and silicone around the frame, that was going to be enough to keep this buoyant.
It was such a pain to have to go through this process, but interesting. I like the challenge. I like to give myself a goal, and if it's a goal that I don't think anybody else has really tried to do in the past, then I like it even more. It's like trailblazing. But I looked and looked and looked all over the internet to see how to build a sheet of artificial ice, and I couldn't find anything. So I ended up having to wing it.
We then sliced up some Perspex sheets and angled them in ways which look similar to ice.
Well, this is two things. This cross bracing holds the upper and lower ice sheet evenly apart, but it also holds them from squashing together when they're underneath pressure. But on top of that, it also adds a depth of field to the ice. And besides, ice has fractures and it has cracks. So when you're looking at ice, you see those cracks, and this is going to be one of those cracks, which is just so happens to be cross bracing for us. This is the inside, and then the outside too is that, the water now has to get through two walls.
Next, we placed the Perspex on top of that, we screwed into that, and then we filled all the gaps around the outside of the frame with silicone.
All right, so what we were gonna do, we're gonna make some fake snow, which is gonna lay over the top of the ice so that the actor can get on here and sort of kneel down and brush it away as if he's brushing off the snow to look at something underneath the ice. This is 1/8 of a cup of powder, which we're going to add to 2 cups of water, and in theory that's going to turn into a nice small batch of test snow, so we can see what it looks like on there. So let's give it a go. I'm just going to sprinkle that into the bottom here. Looks like laundry detergent. And then we're going to add 2 cups of water. So look at it go. Wow, it is sort of, it is a little bit, wow, look at that. Oh man, this is gonna look nice. Yeah, let's see what it looks like over here in better light. There you go. We just made a bucket of snow. That's crazy. Don't worry about the side, because if you see the wood, it can't go where the wood is. Only where there's no wood.
The first time it was ever shot, we shot it in a lake.
Okay.
Someone's gonna shot like this underwater, like you're trying to explore something.
Yeah. Can you do that? Swim towards me.
You're under.
I definitely got him, but I don't know, I can't see it.
And then we realized later on in the production, about a year and a half later, we still needed a couple of clips. So we managed to do that in Enzo's back garden in his swimming pool in New York.
All right, Chad, it's ready for you. Do you want to go underneath it without, and see how it looks?
Yeah. Turns out it's incredibly difficult holding your breath underwater. Like I said before, we did this on a budget. We shot this on a GoPro camera. Some of the shots we got just above as we held Chaddy and Simon under the water. I mean, considering the budget that we had and the camera that we had, I think the footage still turned out incredibly well, and it really is a massive part of this film. It's the opening section, so everything needed to feel real. Here's a little snippet. I obviously can't show you too much because the movie is to be released later this year.
Slower than the others, gets behind in his work, and I know it gets him upset.
Let me know what you think about this, and if you'd like to know anything else about this movie, then please let me know in the comments section below, and I'll describe a little bit more of the process and the editing process. It has taken me over 5 years to produce this film, and it has been a challenge, to say the least, but I'm incredibly excited to show you this. It's going to be a whirlwind of an adventure still yet to come, and I can't wait to start producing my second film, which will begin at the start of next year. I wanted to bring you in on a little bit of the process of the filmmaking of this film. I think that's one of the great things about filmmaking, is that it's innovative and there is still new ways of making things. Here at the CJ Collective, we are a collaborative storytelling company that focuses on telling stories in whatever interesting way we see fit. It is a collaboration of people and creatives, and we are a small team. So your support goes a massive way, and I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody that has already supported us and supported me through this process over the last 5 years. I'm going to start producing a lot more of these videos with a bunch of people that I think are incredibly creative and incredibly skillful, and also should have a voice on this platform. So please give us a thumbs up, please subscribe, and I hope I will see you in the next one.